Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Stand-Up. I'm Lee Henson, president and founder of Agile Dad, and without any further ado, let's get started. One of the questions that's been weighing heavy on my mind is one that I received in a Scrum class this week. So I was teaching a Scrum product owner class and for certification, and I had a question from one of the students where they asked me, what is the difference between a product owner and a product manager? And while I didn't take a whole lot of time to deep think this answer before I gave it to him, I said, well, I think it's just a misconception or deviation of the words. I think they could be one and the same, that a product owner could be considered a project manager or product manager, sorry. So a product owner and a product manager could be one and the same. And through the conversation, as we started talking about it, I realized that what this person was talking about when they were referring to a product manager was not a product owner. There was a clear delineation in their world that a product owner was someone who owned, an overarching, large-scale initiative or product, and that a product manager was someone who managed a particular portion of a product or service to help make sure that we were building the right backlog items or the right features or the right things. So one was responsible for building the right thing, and the other one was responsible for making sure we were building the thing right. And I know that sounds crazy, but that was kind of how it broke out. And, I sat here and I thought about it more, and I said, is this just a misnomer? Is it a play on words? Is it really that big of a difference? So I started doing some investigating this week, and I found that we had some organizations that had some different names. So I thought I'd throw some of these out just to kind of shake things up a little more. I found one organization that said that a product owner should never work by themselves. So they had a product council where they had a product owner who was called a chief product owner, who was the representative for the product. But then they had other product owners who were key stakeholders who contributed and added value to that chief product owner's wishes. I found one that had a product governor, and they had product tribes that contributed. And I'm guessing that the tribes were tribes of analysts who contributed to the product owner, and the product owner was called a product governor. But nonetheless, it was an interesting mix and an interesting play on words. I found product lead, product liaison, product manager, product governor, product overlord, product ruler, product undertaker, product mistress. I found all kinds of crazy names. I think my favorite one I found was the product evangelist. I could just picture somebody down in one of the southern states, I don't know, maybe North Carolina or Georgia, with their van parked by the river, down by the riverside. I'm just picturing this person with, the real dynamic personality and that person that you're around and you're just like, wow. But my question is it just a matter of words? Is it just a title change? Is it just what we're calling people? Is it a descriptor? Is it putting people in a box or a category? Is it an effort to be creative and try to, give people creative names and let them think outside of the box and become something? Or is there really a movement? Because I think the one that's picking up the most momentum is this concept of a product manager. And one of the things that, when I dug a little deeper and I tried to find some good, clear definitions, by the way, there are no real clear definitions, just thought I'd throw that out there. The one that I found that was closest probably described a product manager more like a portfolio or release manager. It was someone who oversaw all aspects of the product and not just the agile piece. So now they were breaking it out in such a way that the agile person was the product owner, and the person who was managing one or many products was a product manager, which led me to believe that the product owners reported to the product manager, and that the product manager was like their supervisor who approved things or said this is good and this isn't good or whatever the case may be. If you tuned in yesterday, we had this very same conversation about the need of a scrum master versus a project manager. So we're back to that manager thing, and I think that the concept of having a manager stems from the same cause as what we discussed yesterday, that organizations and leadership are looking for predictability. And currently, in their Agile projects or in their Scrum implementations, they're not finding the level of predictability they desire. So what they're doing is they're finding crafty ways to invent roles or to align people or to create this intermediary piece that's going to help them gain predictability. And it's just so amazing to me that it all rolls back to that one topic. It all rolls back to predictability. I teach teams all the time that if you want to be more predictable, the only thing you have to do is eliminate time from your estimation process, and voila, you're predictable. And it floors me, it puzzles me when I see organizations struggle so much with this concept. And I think the big reason organizations are struggling is because leadership keeps wanting to measure things using time. And it ties back to why we need a project manager, or why now we need a product manager. It's just these people who have the manager title in their role, their specific desire, their specific need, the reason why they exist is to create and increase predictability of the organization to the leadership and to the people who are looking to make sure that they're meeting deadlines, meeting goals, that they can forecast out for 3-year, 5-year forecasts. Even if those aren't right, they just want somebody to hang the hat on to say, you know what? We gave you this job and we gave you this position and you were supposed to be responsible for this. It's just a way to say, hey, we have we have a single head to roll. We have one throat to choke, a single wringable neck, right? In the words of Ken. And, for years, that responsibility has fallen on the product owner. But I think what people are quickly realizing is that a product owner was never designed to work on multiple products at the same time. A product owner was never designed to work with 10 teams and 6 products and have 5 products in flight and stretch those 6 teams or 10 teams across all those different products. Scrum was never designed to be that way. It was never designed, Agile was never designed to be, no one even thought of scaling until just a few years ago, right? It was never even thought of that it was going to be scaled that way. In an honest confession, at Agile Dad, we thought about scaling back in 2012 when we were working with some of the largest organizations who asked us, this is great at a macro level, but how can we apply this across the entire organization? And by applying it throughout the organization, they then said, this is great, but how can we get this to tie together on some of our most complex projects? How can we get multiple teams to swarm? And it's kind of funny because at the same time, the XP movement had pair programming, and then eventually we had mob programming. And what you're starting to see is this mentality that swarming is good, which I fully approve of, by the way. I think that if you can swarm to eliminate a number of work in progress projects, that's going to help you get things out the door faster. It's going to decrease your time to market, increase your revenue, and it's going to yield a higher quality product. And it's going to create T-shaped individuals and T-shaped teams instead of I-shaped individuals that only have a deep focus. So it's going to limit the number of things that are in scope at any given time, but it's going to allow those products and services to make it to market faster, which is a real interesting concept. But with that being said, I think the summary of everything that we talked about here in this podcast, just to make sure we get it all wrapped up, is that while number one, there are 100 titles. I could find 100 titles easy for what you call the person who is governing, managing, or owning your product or service, right? So let's not get hung up on names, I guess is number one. Number two, if there is a need for a product manager or a project manager, I challenge you to ask the organization why. What problem are they trying to solve, and what is it that they're not getting from a Scrum Master and a product owner that forces them to believe that they need a project manager or a product manager? And then 3, what is, I want you to utilize Grow. What is our goal? What's our reality? What are our options or opportunities, and what will we commit to do? And I think that if you apply Grow here to get to the real root cause, what you're going to find is that oftentimes it's just a simple fix. And I think that if you follow step 3 of the 12-step program, where you have that clear delineation of roles and responsibilities, it doesn't matter whether you call them product owner, product manager, product governor, or gummy bear number 74. I really don't care. As long as that person understands what their responsibilities are, it's going to yield better results, higher predictability. And the key to doing that is to remove time from all your estimation patterns. I hope this was useful to you. I know that we covered a lot of air there. We covered a lot of ground. So I want to make sure that if you have any additional questions, please feel free to email us, leave some questions in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we want you to like and subscribe and pass this along to all your friends, because we're trying to sincerely grow this. This is probably one of the better free resources that we offer. So I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to hear these podcasts. So on behalf of the team at Agile Dad, we really appreciate you being here, and we encourage you to go to agiledad.com, where we have additional free resources available for you. And if you have questions or if you'd like to learn more about training, coaching, or how you can get in touch with us to help you in your Agile initiative, we'd love to help you. Until next time, have a great weekend. Stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile. Take care.